So I'm here with Eytan Elbaz, and Eytan, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
That's a great question. I don't know, same thing most kids think about, doctor, lawyer, go run some real estate. I don't know, but I don't know, eventually kind of got into computers and decided to, do some sort of a tech business, I just want to run a business.
God, nice place you got here.
Where now?
How old were you when you first sent an email?
I don't know, I think I gave this email like third year college. I don't know, 16 years old. No, what am I talking about? Third year of college?
Third year, 16?
No. 18, 19 years old.
18, so 15 years ago? So like 93, you sent your first email?
I'll say about 93, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And were you immediately hooked on the online experience?
No, I think I sent an email and like used Mosaic and used the web, and then I think I put it down for like a year or two. I don't think I got back to it. I think my older brother told me all the good domain names were being taken, and that drew me back to at least check them out like a year and a half later. I didn't register any at the time though.
You didn't register any?
No, I didn't think about that till again years and years later. Yeah.
And what age did you get into computers?
I don't know, my brother got an Apple IIe when he was 13, and that made me 9 years old. So I don't know, we started like programming, making like little programs when we were like 9, playing video games, things like that. Yeah.
And you went to UCLA?
Yeah, I went to UCLA, computer science engineering.
So by what age did you decide that computers was going to be your thing?
I'd been kind of, it was fun. I was captain of the computer science team back in high school.
Oh, I bet that got the cheerleaders.
Definitely. There's definitely a lot of girls who were interested in the computer science team. But I don't know, I've been pretty much doing them since I was a kid, so I never really left computers, and then ended up being a computer science major in college, and just kind of kept going.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of crowd were you in high school? Just the computer geeks or football players? Or I was one of those debate kids. I was always doing debate. Right.
But I was also in like a lot of academic clubs, so yeah, computer and math team. And every now and then I hang out with the cool kids too. So.
Right. And how was your experience of UCLA?
UCLA was cool. It was definitely a eye-opening experience, having lived in Texas growing up. There was a lot more ethnicities. Kind of opened up just the whole world of seeing people different backgrounds, different looking people, and you really got the feeling it was much more of a melting pot than anything I'd ever lived in before, having grown up in something like San Antonio.
Right.
It was really nice.
And when did you start any kind of computer business? Was it after you graduated or while you were still at UCLA?
No, probably about 3 years after school. I'd been working a corporate job, and my older brother and his friend came up with an idea, and we joined up with them, and we, kind of the four of us, along with a cousin, came up with this idea for what became Oingo, this meaning-based search engine, and we worked on that for about 4 years. Went through a lot of ups and downs, name change, and.
From which years? 98 to 2002.
That was 99 through 03.
Okay.
Yeah. So 4 years of that.
What was the plan behind Oingo, meaning-based search engine? I mean, was Google was not around in 99, was it?
Google was around back then. They were still in this beta phase, and we had come up with this idea of making search engines better by helping you search based on meaning rather than text. So we would, for example, you'd be looking for the term Genesis, and we were like, we wanted to help you search for Genesis meaning the Bible, book in the Bible, or Genesis meaning the beginning, or Genesis meaning this comic book character, or Genesis meaning the video game, Sega Genesis. And so we thought that people wanted to search by these meanings. So we worked down that path for probably a year, when it actually occurred to us that people didn't really want to search like this. They really liked the way they were working on Google, and Google's strength was already becoming apparent back then. So we decided to kind of shift gears, focusing a little bit more on internet ads, and web advertising, and contextually targeting, using kind of the same technology to contextually target ads rather than just focus on the search engine.
Were they contextually targeted ad systems then?
There really weren't. We're kind of ahead of the game in that. In many ways, like we came out with this product AdSense in the year 2000 that really didn't get used by anyone for another 2 years. So we've been kind of working and building this technology up while we do cool things. With like you'd be reading an article about, they changed the baggage requirements for when you travel on an airplane, and we might be sitting there recognizing that and showing you an ad for a new suitcase or something like that. So it made a lot of logical sense the way we were presenting these ads.
Were you guys publicly traded?
Never. We were always we were a VC funded company, private,
right.
until we got taken out.
And did you work out of someone's garage?
We actually worked out of this house in the Hollywood Hills. We had 21 people working in this house. It was just a house until the city kicked us out. We had 8 people living in this house. 2 people living in the back of my living room sofa on the floor. And we ran out of this house for 4 or 5 months until literally we got evicted and had to find an office space.
And was it back then? Did publishers just select some code and then paste it onto their website, and then it would pop up? Was that the same as now with AdSense?
No, it wasn't that easy back then. There wasn't a whole lot of pay for placement, like the search engine ads. It just started kind of taking form, but you needed to have a search engine to do that. So people weren't really applying pay for placement ads to content at that point. People were still trying to sell, targeted banner ads, and back when guys like DoubleClick were trying to do a lot of that media repping. But that was a tough business. A lot of companies doing that were going out of business.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, I remember those days. And what was your role with this company?
It's a startup, so you're doing all kinds of things. I wrote the initial business plan, raised the initial money. Was doing a lot of the marketing literature, a lot of the business development. Worked on a lot of the product requirements as we were conceiving and developing new products.
With your brother?
Yeah. Gil and Adam really kind of form more the core technology. We're doing the programming, back-end database architecture, managing this team of linguists, a team of 12 linguists building a neural network of
people with PhDs in linguistics, or what's
a couple of them had PhDs, but for the most part, a lot of them were, we hired a poet, we hired someone with, an undergrad linguistics and a law student. I mean, we were taking people who were just interested in words and interested in building up a company, and if they seemed like they fit, and they were willing to work for no money, then they got the job.
Came up with the idea of switching from a search engine to contextually based advertising?
Good question. We were trying to glom onto what was a product that we could be sold. And the first product we actually came up with was called Domain Sense. It was this product that would help you think of, when the domain name you were trying to register wasn't available, it would try to help you think of other domain names to register. And so I'd actually come up with the idea for Domain Sense, and which at the time had a different name, but we went to a couple of registrars we knew, and we were able to find 1 or 2 customers, and all of a sudden we said, well, that's our first product. And from there we knew that wouldn't be big enough to build a whole business. So we came up with this idea for AdSense, but ultimately it didn't really sell that first year. So we came up with this product called Domain Park, which would monetize traffic to park domain pages, which is still pretty popular around the web. So that started taking off in 2000, 2001. By early 02 was actually helping us pay some of our bills. I think we finally were breaking even by the end of 2002.
When did AdSense start taking off? Was it after Google acquired it, or?
AdSense, we started first getting some customers for AdSense in like early 03. USA Today was probably our first big partner. And we were actually kind of going up against, Google was also kind of going for that deal, and so that was kind of when we knew we had something, when we won this USAtoday.com deal. And shortly after, Google kind of came in and saw that. I think we won that deal maybe around February. The acquisition got completed around